Okay, welcome to our August 2021 freezer meal workshop. We are super excited to have you guys here for some amazing recipes, and I am ready to get started. So this evening, I'm Sam Thomas, for those of you who don't know me, and welcome to Time at My Table. I am a mom entrepreneur. I am a boy mom. I am a wife to an amazing husband, and I really would say that I'm your meal prep, mealtime expert when it comes to strategy and coming up with meals and ideas to help support mealtime at your house with your family, whatever that might look like. So we are going to start off this evening with the first recipe, which is our grilled pineapple burgers and avocado cream. So those of you who are joining me, this is a great opportunity for mise en place, to have everything in its place. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to grab a garbage can or some sort of bucket or bowl that you can put food scraps in, and then have your ingredients out that you're going to need for this recipe. And for this recipe, you're going to need 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 small onion, 2 ripe avocados, a half a lime, a half a lemon, some sort of cooking oil, olive or canola, or what I prefer. And then you're going to need gallon Ziploc bags and a 1 quart Ziploc bag. You will need your Pampered Chef chipotle rub and crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. If you are just pulling those rubs out of the box right now or out of your stash, you are going to want to take a moment to open them up, and there's little tabs on them. All mine are open. I just did a workshop on Sunday, so I may actually be opening more as we go through here. Okay, so what we're going to need for you guys to grab first is your small onion and a cutting board. Ooh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. So I would love to share some little tips on cutting boards right now. So there are lots of different cutting boards out there on the market. And something that I have learned is that not all cutting boards are going to be good for your knives. Okay, so I would tell you that if you have a stone or marble cutting board, that is the worst that you can use for your knives. And it's really better for doughs and rolling for like bread and pastries, cookies, and things like that. We also have things like plastic cutting boards. This is a type of plastic cutting board that we have. And then we also have flexible cutting mats that are pretty cool. These are okay for your knives, and but they're also really good for doing things like cutting up your meats or kale or mushrooms. I actually prefer this cutting board over this flexible one in terms of knife longevity, but these flexible ones are great to just put on your countertop quick, great for your food choppers, doing some quick cut up, and you can use, they come in a pack of 3, so you can use them and switch them out. You can pick a color that's for meat, one that's for vegetables, one that's for fruit, and use it for those purposes. So go ahead and grab your small onion, and if you are a Pampered Chef guru, there are a couple tools that you could use for this recipe. You can use a food chopper, you can use a manual food processor, you can use a rapid prep mandolin, or you can use, if you don't have any of those tools, a good old utility knife or Santoku knife. So I'm going to show you guys how to use one of my favorite products tonight, but if you don't have that product, you can go ahead and just dice up your onion the way that you, with the tool you have in your house. One quick little note before I start doing that, it would probably be beneficial to you to grab a piece of paper and a pen in case there's any tools that you're like, oh my gosh, that would make my meal prep life so much easier. That way you can put it on a wish list, and grab a Sharpie because you're going to need that for your Ziploc bags. Okay, so first things first, to start dicing up the onion, you're going to cut off both ends. Little knife skills really quick that I'll go over a couple times throughout this workshop. When you are cutting with a knife, this is a utility knife. Love our stainless steel, German stainless steel utility knife, lifetime warranty on these. The tang goes all the way through the handle, so you're not going to get any wobble here like you would with maybe some of the less expensive knives. And when you're holding a knife, you don't want to put your finger up here. A lot of people have a tendency to do that, but then you use more of your wrist when you're cutting. When you wrap your finger around, you're going to have more of it as an extension of your arm. This knife in particular is a utility knife. Let's see, I'll get up in this screen. And you can see the edge goes up. And so when you're cutting with this one, you'll do kind of like an airplane taking off. And if you have a flat blade, like a Santoku knife, like this one, this is a big one, you will do it more like choo-choo track, and just go straight back and forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to cut off both ends of your onion, the hairy bottom and the top. You're going to peel your onion. If you have a citrus peeler, you can use that to actually peel your onion as well. It's a great little tool for that. I'm gonna actually grab mine really quick. My kids didn't confiscate it. Of course they did. Okay, so my kids confiscated my citrus peeler. They use it to peel their oranges and everything. So, and this is the time where you can put those scraps straight into your garbage can or your scrap bowl that you have on your table. Let's get that peeled. Okay, so this is really a medium onion. I will probably only use half of this, but I'm gonna dice it up to show you guys how this awesome little tool works here. So this is called the Rapid Prep Mandolin. It is fairly new to our line, and it has been quite a game changer for me personally. It is a, if you're familiar with mandolins, they have lots of different cut settings, and this one doesn't actually have to change the blade. It has these little dials on the back of it that you can use to change the thickness and how it's going to cut. So you don't have to move anything on or off. If you've been with Pampered Chef for a long time or had a mandolin in the past, you probably remember the one where that blade had to change, and it was a pain in the butt to get on and off. So it has this cool little food catcher. The bottom of this has little tiny suction cups. So you guys can see those here, and goes on my table. And what's really neat about this is the blade for this Rapid Prep Mandolin actually goes over the food. You guys can see it, rather than it used to be your food would go over the blade. And so we'd have lots of little cutting accidents with people that were using their mandolins. So in terms of safety features, this is really a cool product. Let me check the settings it's on. I'm gonna see if this is what I want it to be. And that there, I think it is. Okay, cool. So let's go to that. I'm gonna play around with it because I'm still learning the settings. Okay, so this onion is gonna be too big to fit in the food chute for this. So if there's something that's too big to fit in the food chute, you can always cut it in half or do whatever you need to do to get it in there. Food chute's there, food holders here. You guys can see this is a slice setting, and I'm gonna go back to a small dice setting. See that's coming out to dice. So I'll throw this one back through, and I'll show you guys a little closer because I wanted to just show you some of these cool settings here. You can do julienne, you can do little like slices, so it's great for citrus, for onions, and then it also has a French fry setting, which is great as well. So if your chopping doesn't get small enough, what's awesome about it, throw your onion back through the chute and get it to whatever consistency you want. And great little tool for that. I would recommend to finely chop your onion for this recipe because it is going to be going in your burgers unless you like really chunky stuff. They do cook down a little bit, but I actually just had these for dinner on Sunday night and they were delicious. So, okay, so you can see the food chute catches it. You guys can look there. I'll show you guys on the screens, and you have your onion diced up. Okay, so the next thing you are going to need is a medium or large mixing bowl. Yes, I have tons of mixing bowls, so I'm gonna use a non-Pampered Chef one for this because I want to use my Pampered Chef ones for some other things. But you're gonna grab that out. You're gonna grab your 2 pounds of ground beef and open it up. You are going to dump your beef into the bowl. You are going to add your onion into that same bowl. Just scrape it out or however you need to. And then you are going to get your spices ready for adding. So the things that you will need are the chipotle rub and the crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. So the chipotle rub, you are going to need 1 tablespoon. I'm going to give you guys a little trick here. I personally don't love getting a bunch of dishes dirty. So if I need 1 tablespoon in these recipes, the cap of these Pampered Chef spices is 1 tablespoon. So you can go ahead and fill your cap and dump in 1 tablespoon of chipotle rub. And then 1 tablespoon of crushed peppercorn and garlic. Ooh, and I am low on that. Gotta grab a new one. Let me see. If you hear my kids, we're having a rough night, so just don't mind them. Let's see, I got my box here. Grab my spices out of. There we go. Okay. And then I personally am someone that likes to add an egg to my burger mixture. I do this because it really helps with the consistency of the burger, and it helps it stick together while cooking. So I'm going to grab an egg out. If you guys have an egg at home, this is the time to grab it. If you do not, that is okay. Your burgers will turn out fine, but it's just a little tip that I like to give in my cooking experience. Okay, so here comes the fun part, or not so fun part. We are going to go ahead and mix up the burger meat. You can do this in a few ways. If you don't want to touch the meat itself, you can throw on some plastic gloves. You could try to use a mix and scraper or a masher, or you can use your good old hands, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up my meat with the onion, the spices, and the 1 egg. And mix it well together. So depending on, we have lots of different levels of people prepping. I know there are going to be some people prepping for very large families on here. There are going to be some people prepping for maybe solo or empty nesters, or maybe just 2 people. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can package these meals to fit your needs in your household. Okay, so if you only have 2 people in your house, you might be getting quite a few meals out of this. If you have a full house, 4 to 6 people is usually what this serves. This will make 8 burgers. So I suppose you could serve 8 people. Then you will probably just get 1, maybe 1.5 dinners out of it. Okay, so once you have your meat mixture put together, I'm going to have us break this apart, okay? If you have a burger and slider press, this is the time to get it out. I ironically got rid of mine because I had stopped doing freezer meal workshops and was clearing out during COVID, and I need to order another one because we've been making tons of burgers. So for those of you who have maybe small kids or want a portion size, you guys may want to make these into a slider size. So some ways to do this: take your meat, divide it in half. Woo. divide it in half again, each side, and then you want to divide that in half again to get your about 1/4 pound of burger. If you are going to do sliders, you could even take this and put it in half again. And so that is great for, again, families that maybe portion control, maybe not wanting a whole burger, or maybe you have young kids that are coming over to eat and they won't eat a full burger, and that way you have a slider. So you're gonna form these into patties of whatever size you want. I personally am gonna make 8. My kids devoured a burger apiece, so we don't have that problem in this house with 3 boys. Okay. And again, shape your burgers. And again, the burger and slider press is so amazing for this. I really wish I had mine still. Again, I'm adding it to my list of stuff to get this month because it would make this much a better formed burgers. Okay, so I'm going to take my other half and once again, divide it in half, divide it in half. So you're going to have 8 patties total if you're doing 1/4 pounders. And whoop, my thing's going to tip. Go. And then I'm going to actually go wash my hands really quick because I have to grab my Ziploc. So once you are done forming your patties, do quick hand wash, and you're going to want to grab probably 2 freezer Ziplocs at minimum. And or if you don't have a lot of freezer Ziplocs, go ahead and grab your 1 freezer Ziploc and parchment paper. Okay, so wash hands and then come on back. How is everybody doing that's joining me? How are we doing? This is going to be the longest recipe of the evening. You guys can drop in the chat or.
Doing good. Thank you for the tips.
Awesome. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and grab our freezer gallon bag. Okay. And what I am personally going to do is I don't have any parchment paper. I just went to the store today too. I'm going to grab some, but I forgot it. And take my patties and I'm going to line 4 in a bag. If you are somebody that made sliders, you might be able to actually fix my onion here. Got onion on my table here. You can probably put 6 sliders in a bag in 1 row at least, or 1 level. Okay, just gonna move some of this stuff over. Okay, cool. Okay, so and then what you will do, if you all can see this, is you're gonna lay your patties flat in your freezer bag. And if you're putting them all in 1 bag, you would put 1 layer and then you would add a piece of parchment paper and then put another layer. If you're doing them in separate bags or portioning them out, then you would just do 4 in a layer and close that bag up. Again, this is where your maybe your wipes, your Clorox or antibacterial, whatever you have might come in handy, or just a washcloth that's wet. When you close up your bag, you're going to want to try to get as much air out of it as possible and keep it flat. This is definitely going to be a lay flat recipe for your freezer. Okay, so I'm going to grab my next freezer bag and do the same thing again. 4 patties in. And here we are. on my hands a little bit. Squeeze out as much air as possible. And there we go. Okay, so that part's done. I am going to carefully lift these up so I don't fling them everywhere and stack these aside for now. And then I'm going to wipe down my area, move my bowl to the sink. If you're going to need it again, you can take a moment to wash it after. And then we're going to move on to the avocado cream for this recipe here. So what you will need for your avocado cream are your 2 avocados, your lemon, your lime, and then you're going to need some more rubs, chipotle rub in particular, and then your cooking oil. So I'm going to take a moment to wash my hands again. This is where that dish towel or whatever you have comes into place. And they're back. Okay. So avocado cream. As you're getting your ingredients together, if you have a manual food processor or an electric food processor, this is a great opportunity to use it. If you have a really good cooking blender or blender food processor mix, you could also use that for this if you wanted to. If you don't have any of those things or don't want to pull it out, grab a mixing bowl and a masher or a fork, okay? I'm personally going to use the manual food processor today to show you how I personally make this cream. So avocados, this is quite a difficult item to buy sometimes at the store. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little tip on finding out if your avocado is ripe or not. Okay, so when you are going and getting your avocado, they have this little nub where it came off where the stem was. And when you're in the grocery store, this one's already been pulled off, but you can basically see if it's easy to remove. If it's not easy to remove, like this one is not, it is probably not a ripe avocado. Okay, so this one looks like it already has its one gone. And so it probably means that it's pretty ripe. And then I have another one here and we'll test this one. Oh, and that popped right off. Okay, so that is just a little quick tip on figuring out ripe avocados instead of trying to squeeze them and get, mashy ones or whatever you have going on there. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and grab your cutting board. If you have an avocado tool, you can go ahead and grab that. If you do not, you can grab a knife and we can pit it that way. But I'm going to show you our nifty little avocado tool here as we get started. So let me see. Here's one of my ripest ones. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to cut my avocado in half. You can use just a regular knife for this if you want. And then my avocado tool here can get, I struggled with this the other day. I didn't cut it in half well enough. I'll show you guys on this one. It basically pulls the seed out when you get the seed, there we go. It loosens it up and you can pull it out. I'm devouring the seed. This is a very ripe avocado. So the seed's a little soft too. Okay, take that part out. And then I'm going to cut the next one. There we go. I don't even need the avocado tool for this one. So take your pits out and then you can use the avocado tool to scoop out the avocado inside. There's a serrated side and a flat side. The flat side is really great for getting those pieces out, and then you can use the serrated side to get any tough stuff along the inside of the peel. Just be careful because this is a pretty sharp serrated edge if you have it. If you don't have one of these, a grapefruit spoon would work. Or you could just use a regular spoon or knife, but this is just a really neat tool if you're a big avocado fan. Okay. And you're gonna put this avocado straight into your processor or your bowl if you're using a bowl to mix. And we're almost done here. It's a lot more graceful today using this tool than I was on Sunday. It was my first time using it because I just got it. Well, actually, I've had it. It's been in my basement, but okay. There we go. Nifty, nifty. Okay. Avocados are out. I'm gonna toss these in. I'm gonna wipe my hands down. And then I am going to grab my citrus. If you have a juicer or a citrus press, this is the time to gather one of those out. And what you will do is you will take your citrus and cut it in half. If you do not have any of those tools, you're going to do the good old squeeze method into here, but you're only going to need half a lemon and half a lime. So if you're using a citrus press, one of my favorite tools, great for cocktails, fresh lemonade, or for even using citrus in your salads or creams like this, you are going to take it and put your flat side down. What I love about the Pampered Chef citrus press is it has this cool nub here that is a little more, it's higher than what other brands have. The other brands tend to be more rounded, and what you will see is that nub allows you to squeeze out a lot of juice and almost completely inverts the citrus itself. Okay, so this is the citrus press. Really great tool to have on hand. So half a lemon, and then cut your lime in half. And you'll do half a lime. This also catches the seeds, guys. So if you're using the good old, just squeeze your citrus by itself, this is a much better way to help you with catching the seeds. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys again that it completely almost inverted the peel, the citrus. Okay, so once you have your half a lemon, half a lime in there, you are going to add about 1 teaspoon of chipotle rub. I don't have a trick for this, guys, in terms of teaspoon. Grab your good old teaspoon. I'm using the adjustable measuring spoon that fits perfectly inside here, and getting 1 teaspoon of chipotle rub. You could add a little bit of salt and pepper if you want. It was pretty citrusy, I think, because my lemons and limes were kind of big. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Otherwise, we enjoyed it this way. And you're going to take it, and if you're using the manual food processor, you're going to put your lid on. Process till smooth. If you're using an electric food processor or blender, do that right now. Or if you have none of the above, grab that masher, grab that fork, and start whipping up the avocado. So this manual food processor is quite amazing. It is great for doing things like pico, guacamole. You can get as fine or as coarse as you want. Baby food. I love making an apple cranberry salsa in this in the fall. And what I really like about the manual food processor over an electric food processor is it doesn't pulverize your food. So it really gives you control over the fact of how much you want it to be chopped, not chopped, etc. So you are going to do this until it is smooth. So you guys can see it starting to get smoother here. It is going to be just a tad, like it's going to have some chunks. It's not going to be perfectly smooth. That's what it's supposed to be. And Great stress reliever after a long day. Okay, so that is good. So what's cool about the manual food processor base, guys, if you don't have this, is if you're making avocado like pico or guacamole or something in here, the blade comes out and it has a lid to it. So you basically could make this and store your dip or whatever you're making in it right here, drop it right in the fridge. So super versatile and not having to dirty a lot of dishes. Once you have created your avocado cream, you are going to grab your quart Ziploc bag, I'm actually going to use, I'm trying, since I'm doing so many of these, some reusable Ziplocs. So I will give you the verdict after this round, let you know if they're worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And take my scraper. Actually, I'm going to use my scoop and spread for this because my scoop and spread is a little smaller and it helps really get into the corners here. And we're going to put this in the quart bag. Okay, so whatever quart freezer bag you have, you don't have a quart, go ahead and just use another gallon. I don't think a sandwich bag is going to be enough, sandwich size. And you could always use freezer storage containers if you do not have a quart or a freezer or a gallon freezer, I should say. Okay, so that is all for the avocado cream. Oh, I forgot the oil, guys. You need the oil. That's why it was still a little chunky. I'm going to add it in and just kind of mush it around in my bag. This isn't an exact science here. Okay, so you need 1 teaspoon of your cooking oil. I'm going to guesstimate a little bit. And the avocado itself is pretty oily. It has the fats in it, so not going to be the end of the world. But I'm going to go ahead and take this, squeeze as much air out of it as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to just mix it up together a little bit more again. And then you will label this bag avocado cream if you so desire. You will be putting these all in one bag, so you may not need to do that. If you're using reusable ones, you can use a dry erase marker, or if you're using your regular plastic ones, you can use a Sharpie. And grab my stuff out of here. Okay, so I'm going to use this and put avocado cream. Okay, so how are we doing on that avocado cream? People following along, drop in the chat. Easy, hard, are you close to being done making it? Okay, let's get on to the fun part. Processing, here we go. I got some chats going here. Okay, we're doing good. Okay, cool. Okay, so the very last step then, guys, is you're going to take another gallon Ziploc bag. This last bag does not necessarily have to be a freezer one. You can do just a regular storage one if you would like. And you're going to label it with, I'm just going to put grilled pineapple burger. And that's just as a extra precaution in case I lose my directions. But you're going to take this bag. You are going to carefully place both bags of your burgers in here. And this third freezer bag is really to keep everything together, but it also helps leaking when things are defrosting. Okay, so we'll pull that in. I'm going to put the avocado cream in, and then you are going to go to your freezer meal packet. I should have let you guys know that you are more than welcome to follow along to these directions. We're on page 6 right now, and then we're moving to page 12 for our freezer meal directions. And let me grab my scissors. I guess I'm grabbing real scissors tonight. I'll find my shears for one of our recipes. And you will cut out the grilled pineapple burger with avocado cream. Cooking day instructions. And I just realized the cooking day instructions do say July, but they are August. You're gonna grab your sandwich bag if you have them, or you can put it just straight in, but I love putting them in sandwich bags, helps keep my directions clean, or you can put them on your refrigerator for the directions. And what you'll do, you'll put them in a sandwich bag and flop it straight on top of the bag. You will see exactly what you have in your bag then. And you'll want to put your frozen date on your bag because that way you remember how long it lasts. So general rule of thumb with freezing and freezer meals. To use them, I would use them in about 3 months if you have a regular freezer, or 4 to 6 months with a deep freezer. Okay, so super important to put that freeze date on there. That way you know exactly how long ago you put it in there in case it gets lost, and you can have your food safety. Okay, this one you're going to want to store flat because of those burgers. And if you guys are finished up, go ahead and throw those in the freezer. Go to my outside freezer. Second day of freezer meals this week. Okay, so I'm going to move away some of this stuff again. That way I can have a clean workspace. We will not be using the manual food processor again, so you can go ahead and put that in the sink. We will not be using the avocado tool again, so you can put that aside. And while you guys are probably finishing up storing those recipes, I'm going to give a little quick tip on pineapple, because that particular recipe on cooking day, you're going to need pineapple sliced, and you can use fresh or canned. And I'm going to show you guys how I use fresh pineapple and how easy it is to grab a fresh pineapple and save yourself money on some fresh fruit. So as you guys are picking up, you guys can watch my little pineapple tips here. And then if you are done, you guys can start grabbing the ingredients for your smoky barbecue pork tenderloin. Okay, so grab those things out. But in the meantime, let's show you guys some pineapple tips. Okay, so pineapple. I am using a large wooden cutting board because it has the wells in it. These large cutting boards are amazing for your nice longevity, and as long as you keep them oiled and clean, they're pretty good at staying pretty water resistant. Okay, so fresh pineapple, here we go. Got this from the store, actually had it delivered, but I'm going to give you some pineapple tips. So when you are picking out a pineapple, a lot of people try to go by the color or feeling it, and that's not always what you need to do. So what you can do is you can pull, and this one's probably not very ripe just based on that. And if you can't pull out that stem, like you just saw me have to work really hard at it, it's probably not ripe. So unfortunately, I did not shop for my own pineapple today, but I will show you guys some little tips on cutting half of this one because I want the other side to ripen up for us to use before I cut it. So what you will do is when you are cutting up a pineapple, we have an amazing pineapple wedger with Pampered Chef. And you're going to take a big knife, a chef knife or a Santoku knife, and cut off the bottom of the pineapple and the top of the pineapple. Okay, bottom and top of the pineapple. To use the Pampered Chef pineapple wedger, you're going to then want to, if you're really short, probably cut it into thirds. If you're taller and you have that counter height, you can cut it in half. Okay, so you guys can see here, 2 parts. I'm going to grab my pineapple wedger and place the pineapple, well, not on that part yet. I'm gonna take my wedger here, line up, you guys can see the center part with the core of the pineapple, and rock down. Then I'm gonna take the bottom guard part, line it up, and finish getting that out. So what does this do? It allows you to pull off the sides of this pineapple. And you can either keep these pieces to squeeze for pineapple juice, or you can throw them away, whatever you prefer. The core is great for smoothies. I like to throw these in the freezer in a plastic bag or a freezer container, or a place to pull out for smoothies. And then let's see how unripe this is. It's actually very good. So if you've ever bought the store-bought fresh pineapple, it comes looking like this, and only about half a pineapple, actually about this size, in a container already sliced. And I think people pay usually $4 to $5, maybe $6 for that pre-sliced half a pineapple, when this pineapple here was $2. So all you need to do is take one side of it, and you can slice it as thin or as thick as you want. These particular pieces are going to be grilled and go on the burgers. And so I'm making them a little bit thinner. And so there's one side, and then I won't need much more than that. So I'm going to cut up the rest of this, put it in a container into pieces for my kids to eat, or we can serve it with another dinner. Or there's another recipe in this freezer meal recipes that requires pineapple tidbits. Okay, so then you could cut them even smaller. So I actually think this pineapple's good. We can definitely use this. So I'm going to cut up the other side. So again, I'm going to show you. Take half the pineapple, rock it down, shimmy it down. Take the bottom, shimmy the rest of it, pull off the sides. You can save them to squeeze out, or you can throw them away. You can save your core for smoothies. And then you can cut these sides in any fashion that you see fit for your household. So those are some quick pineapple tips and benefits of cutting your own pineapple and saving some money at home on fresh pineapple. So that is that. Do I have any questions? Feel free to come off mute or drop them in the chat if you're joining us through the replay, or you can't come off mute at this time. Okay. Cool. Let me wash my hands. I'm going to grab a container for this pineapple. Throw it in the fridge. Okay, so I promise, guys, if you're following along, that is the longest recipe. We are going to breeze through the rest of them. Lots of demoing for this particular recipe. And as you start going through these, they're going to go quicker. If you make this recipe again at home on your own, you won't have all the little demo tips or distractions. So put this pineapple away, move this particular cutting board to the sink, wash my hands one more time, and we are getting our Smoky barbecue pork tenderloin slider ingredients out. So you're going to need your 2 pounds of pork tenderloin, your 1/8 cup of cooking oil, and 1 yellow onion, as well as Smoky barbecue rub. So go ahead and take a moment to get your places together. And wiping up my workspace. I'm done with this knife and the pineapple ledger. Okay. Perfect. Here we go. Let's move on to our next recipe. Okay, so in this recipe, it will be very helpful for you to grab a large mixing bowl. And you're gonna need that just to put your Ziploc in. It's a great way to stack your Ziploc. Again, I'm gonna try for my first time ever these reusable gallon Ziplocs, and I will let you guys know the verdict on them. But otherwise, grab your freezer gallon Ziploc that is labeled pork tenderloin. Open it up, put it in your bowl if you have one, and let's get started. Okay. So you are going to grab your pork tenderloin. Yours will probably already be in the Ziploc. If it is not, take your quick moment to cut open your package, and I'm dumping it in here. And this bowl is here to help in case the Ziploc falls over or any of the juice leaks out, so I don't have to keep wiping down my counter with juices. Okay, so super simple recipe here, guys. You are going to take your, move my directions, there we go. You're gonna take your pork tenderloin and put it in the bag. You are going to add 4 tablespoons of Smoky barbecue rub. I am officially out again. So I gotta grab my one from in here. Go. If you just were making one round of freezer meals, you should have, and you will have enough with one. So, okay. And then you're gonna do 1/8 of a cup of canola or cooking oil. 1/8 of a cup of canola or olive or cooking oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my easy read measuring cup here and pour in. I'm using the 2 cup, but the small 1 cup would be more appropriate to gather 1/8 of a cup level. Okay, you will dump that into your bag. Okay, you're gonna put the bag aside momentarily and grab another onion. Grab another onion. I'm gonna move this over here and grab my onion cutting board. And you will take your onion, once again, cut off both ends, and then you will wedge it. And you'll just put it in like this and break them apart into the bag, okay? So again, this is kind of a personal preference. As much or as little onion as you want is really up to you. If your family's not a big onion fan, I'd put a few in just to add that flavor and go from there. So once you have that onion peeled and wedged and in the bag, you are going to take your Ziploc bag, squeeze out as much air as possible. Okay. And you will then take your cooking day instructions for the barbecue, Smoky barbecue pork tenderloin sliders, cut them out, put them in your sandwich bag. On cooking day, you will be making this in either a slow cooker. The Rock Crock slow cooker and stand is great. You can make it in a quick cooker, which is also a pressure cooker. Really, really great tool for making your meat quick. It cuts down on cook time by about 70% and makes it still nice and tender. And you'll go ahead and put that in your sandwich bag. And you will put those then in your second bag. I personally am going to just tape this on my reusable bag. But again, what you will do if you don't have the reusable bags, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, once you close it up, massage the spices and rub and the olive oil into the pork tenderloin, okay? That way, as it is frozen and then thawing again, it will start marinating your meat, okay? So that's ready to go. Put your stuff in your sandwich bag and double bag it. As you are trying to decide how you want to store your freezer meals, this one, if you want it to thaw out faster, if you're someone that remembers to pull your freezer meals out to thaw, thawing flat or storing flat like this is going to be a great option. If you're somebody that has limited freezer space, you might need to fold it up and make it smaller. And if you're somebody like me that sometimes forgets to pull the stuff out of the freezer, you can shape it in whatever cooking vessel you're going to cook it in. So I would take my quick cooker base, which is my pressure cooker, and throw that in there just to get an idea of how I would like to freeze it. So those are some tips on freezing. Make sure you put your freeze date on there. I'm not going to get tape out of here, am I? And then double bag it, put it in your freezer, and remember, about 3 months in your conventional freezer and 4 to 6 months in your deep freezers. So barbecue fork sliders. There we go. You guys again can probably hear my children getting ready for bed upstairs. Okay. That recipe is done. Okay. So how are we doing? Make sure you drop in the chat or come off mute. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Are you keeping up with me? Am I going too fast? We'll move on to the next one as soon as I get some yay or nay status here. Okay. I'm going to wipe up my area, move out the other things, and it looks like everybody that's on here live is ready for recipe 3. So let me just put you guys on mute for a minute so I can tell my children to be quiet. Okay, recipe number 3 is going to be on page 8 of our freezer meal workshop packet. This is going to be the quick cooker barbecue chicken bowls. So this is a great opportunity for you to gather everything together. You will need for this recipe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast or chicken thighs. You will need 1 medium onion, 1 cup of ketchup, salt, cooking oil, apple cider vinegar, and then we're making a dressing in this recipe. So you're going to need your Greek yogurt, low-fat buttermilk, apple cider vinegar again, sugar, Dijon mustard, salt, and pepper, and freezer bags. So let's grab this stuff out and get this party started. Okay, so again, great option is to grab your bowl, and I'm going to actually cut up my onion on this one first before I start dealing with my meat. So go ahead and grab an onion. And this one is, again, going to be a good opportunity to dice or slice into smaller pieces. I'm only going to probably use half an onion in this. A yellow onion was on the recipe, but I also really love some red onion for this recipe because it gives you just a little bit, in my opinion, of a sweeter flavor, a little different flavor. So you can mix it up next time you make it, make a little note. So you can use either or. Peeling my onion here. And again, I think I actually forgot to put, nope, I did not. We are going to put our onion into slices here, okay? I actually forgot to do this on my first workshop though. So Good thing we're recording tonight. Okay, so you're gonna take your simple slicer or your rapid prep mandolin or your good old handy dandy knife. You are going to put your rapid prep mandolin on the whole cut setting, and I'm gonna go to like a setting 5. If you have the manual, or sorry, if you have the simple slice, this is where you will use probably the setting 2, number 2 thickness. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this part here. Make sure y'all can see me. Yeah, okay, cool. Put this down. I'm gonna throw my onion in. I'm actually gonna cut it in half just so it fits. Okay, in there flat. Cutting it up. And you'll see, again, this is coming into slices like this. And I'm gonna do these a little bit thinner, so I'm gonna actually go down to setting like 4. And see that these are thinner slices, great for burger slices too. Okay, so have those ready to go. And we're gonna get our chicken bag ready again. Okay, so move your onion out of the way. Your other onion can go inside of your bag, your 1.5 to 2 pounds of chicken. And I'm just gonna go ahead and toss this because I probably will not squeeze the juice out of this tonight. Okay, so once you have your onion and your chicken together, we are now going to get a measuring cup and measure 1 cup of ketchup. So I really love using a measure-all cup for this. If you have a measure-all cup, it is a wet, dry cup that allows me to measure 1 cup of ketchup. So I'm grabbing my no sugar added ketchup. That's a great way to cut back on some of that added sugar in your diet. If you guys can get some of that, I know Heinz makes some, and I know that Aldi, the next ketchup bottle I'm using is going to be an Aldi Simply Ketchup, which again has less added sugar in it. And this is a great opportunity to show you guys get all that ketchup out. Okay, that ketchup bottle's done. And I'm gonna grab my next one. Well, that's on the floor. Kitchen blooper. How we get messy in the kitchen. Okay. So we're gonna open this up. So I can move this out of the way so you guys can see this on both cameras. Okay. This on. And put it in my measure-all cup. Okay, point of the measure-all. You guys are probably like, if you don't have one, what are you doing with this? Well, I have it slid up and it's in this clear part. What I can do is turn it upside down, and you're going to throw this into the bag, and you're going to push the measuring cup. Okay, and then guys, look, got all the ketchup off the sides. So this tool is fabulous for mayonnaise, ketchup, yogurt, peanut butter, honey, any of those, sour cream, any of those recipes where you hate scraping it out of your measuring cup. Okay, so 1 cup of ketchup. You're going to need salt next. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I am personally going to use my salt and pepper grinder, and I am putting it to taste. So 1/4 teaspoon is quite a bit. So if you're trying to cut back on salt, you can have control of that. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of your cooking oil. 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. Once again, I'm going to use an adjustable measuring spoon. This one has 1 teaspoon all the way up to 1 tablespoon. And it's just easy storage, especially if you are in a smaller kitchen. You don't have to find all those measuring spoons either. And then you're gonna grab your apple cider vinegar, which this one I know I just bought. Move this out of the way. And hope that I brought it in the house. Ah, put it in the pantry. Okay, so you're gonna need two teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So this larger adjustable measuring spoon actually has a 2 teaspoon on it. So throw that in there. And then you're gonna grab your Kansas City barbecue rub and your 3 onion rub. Okay, so for your Kansas City style barbecue rub, you are going to need 2 tablespoons or 2 capfuls. And then for your 3 onion rub, you will only need half a tablespoon. So about half a cap, or you can measure out half a tablespoon with a measuring spoon. Okay, so once you have all those pieces in there, you can close this up. And knead the mixture together. Get as much air out of it as you can and knead the mixture together. So you get all the spices mixed in there. You get the ketchup, the vinegar, oil, etc. Okay. And then again, decide, how am I going to store this? Am I going to need to store it flat? So I'm going to remember to pull it out. Are you going to need to store it so it fits into whatever cooking vessel you're going to use? This particular recipe can be made in the slow cooker or the quick cooker again. So I again am going to put it like this because I am terrible at remembering to put this stuff together. So I'm going to put that aside for a moment, wash my hands. And move on to our coleslaw dressing, okay? So for this particular part of the recipe, you're gonna need a small or medium prep bowl. I personally am using a 2-cup silicone prep bowl. And you're gonna need your Greek yogurt, you're gonna need your buttermilk, your apple cider vinegar, your sugar, your Dijon mustard, your salt and pepper. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my milk out. Okay. That. And I am going to use my my measure all again. So I'm gonna wipe this down. You guys can see I literally just had to wipe the top to it. So when I'm ready to use it for my 3/4 a cup of yogurt here. So plain Greek yogurt, guys, no flavored stuff. Get a very interesting flavored coleslaw with that. Not sure if you want some vanilla flavored coleslaw, but that's just my opinion. So you'll go ahead and put your Greek yogurt into your measure all cup or your measuring cup, 3/4 a cup of Greek yogurt. Okay. And once again, you guys can see this in action. Plop it down and voila, scrape it off and it's ready to go. Okay, your 3/4 of a cup, 3/4 a cup of buttermilk. I'm going to be honest, I forgot buttermilk, so I'm going to use regular milk, but it is not going to be as thick. Okay, it's not going to be as thick. So 3/4 a cup of your milk. So you guys can see the other side of this measuring cup is for liquid. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So grab your vinegar. I will say there's some people that feel this recipe is a little bit bland. So you can always add a little more sugar and vinegar to it if you feel that your family likes something with a little more flavor. You're gonna do 2 teaspoons of sugar. And I'm gonna show you guys my little teaspoons here. You guys can see how these work. Again, if you like a little more flavor, you might choose to do 3 teaspoons of sugar, 3 or 4. And then you're gonna add salt and pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 a teaspoon of pepper. I am guesstimating to do this to taste for myself. I'm not an exact science person, but you guys can certainly do it that way. And then you will take a fork or a whisk or a whipper and mix this recipe together. You can also use, and I actually should have done this, our measure, mix, and pour container. We have that, and you could shake it up in that and then have your dressing. And you could theoretically store that in your fridge if you were going to be making this recipe in the next few days here. Okay. So I'm mixing that recipe up. Again, if you, forgot my Dijon mustard. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, guys. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And again, mix that up. Okay, so coleslaw. Okay, if you've already purchased your coleslaw for your recipe day, you can you can freeze your coleslaw package with this. It will not be as crispy as usual, but you definitely can freeze cabbage. Not a big deal. I'm gonna take my quart Ziploc bag here. And what I love about my flexible prep bowls, silicone flexible prep bowls, is I can funnel this in super easily. It has the spout, I can squeeze it. You guys can see that happening. And these actually come in a set of 3. We have a large, I believe actually this is says on here. Let's close that up and I'll let you know. Comes in, I think this is a 4 cup. That's good dressing, guys. 3 cup, 2 cup, and 1 cup. Okay, so you'll close this up and you can freeze this. And when you take it out and thaw it out on cooking day, just make sure you shake it up again, get everything reincorporated. Okay, so now that we have those things done, you're going to take these 2 pieces of the recipe and put them in your 2nd gallon Ziploc bag. Cut out your cooking day instructions and put them in there as well. Label your freeze date. Again, think about how you would best store this for thawing or not thawing. And the cooking day instructions for this one are going to be on page 13 of your freezer meal recipe. And on cooking day, you are going to need 1 to 2 cans of black beans, a lime, your bag of coleslaw, cilantro, and your pineapple tidbits. Either you can dice them up yourself with fresh pineapple or buy it in a can. And then you can serve it over rice or quinoa in a bowl. So really, really great little recipe here. You don't even have to serve it over rice or quinoa. You can serve it over your coleslaw. Put it in the bag. Has the instructions, the name of the recipe, and the freeze date on the outside. And zip up that 2nd bag to help you prevent leakage when you're thawing. And throw this in the freezer. Okay, so that completes recipe number 3 for this workshop. And we are going to start getting ready for recipe number 4, which is going to be the grilled pineapple chicken. So go ahead and work on getting your workspace cleaned up for the next recipe and gathering the ingredients for your grilled pineapple chicken, 4 to 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, your spicy pineapple rum sauce, and your Asian seasoning mix. I love doing these virtually because you can clean as you go. You can pause your video, go back and watch the replay, whatever you need to do, and it is just great. Okay, so moving some stuff out of the way that we don't need anymore. We will need our ketchup. I do not need this pineapple, but I'm going to keep that part. Okay, how's everybody doing? Okay, our chat is saying, I love the multi-purpose measuring device. Yes, Measure All comes in 3 sizes, 1 cup, 2 cup, and I think it's a 1/4 of a cup. And that one's great for little amounts of things like honey and oils and things like that. Okay, quick cooker is going in the freezer. Actually, I'm gonna have to put this in the fridge and run them out to my freezer when we are done here. Okay, next recipe. I'm gonna grab out my chicken. You're gonna use your big bowl again, okay? Grab your Ziploc bag if you already have it portioned, which most of you do. You'll have your 4 to 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts in the bag. I have very large boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So there is a tool called a close and cut, which is fabulous for turning this size D breast into a size B breast, as my mentor would say. But I'm also going to use these and just cut them up based on how I'm cooking them, okay? My kids will eat them that way, but it will take less time if you can cut them in half and make them thinner when you cook them, okay? So I have raw chicken on my hands, so I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands again. Towels. I'm using so many paper towels here, guys. I'm not being friendly. Here I am using reusable Ziploc bags and a bunch of paper towels. Anyways, okay, grilled pineapple chicken. I'm super excited for this recipe. It uses our spicy pineapple rum sauce. So all you're gonna need to do is open up that bag of chicken breasts, grab your spicy pineapple rum sauce, one of my favorite Pampered Chef sauces, and you're gonna open it up and just dump it right on that chicken, okay? And then you are going to take your Asian seasoning mix and put 1 tablespoon of Asian seasoning mix in. So dump the whole container of this. If you are making the full recipe, I actually am gonna be selfish and reserve just a tad of this because I love putting this over vanilla ice cream. Okay, so I'm gonna get myself a nice bowl of vanilla ice cream after this workshop tonight and put some of this sauce on top of it, and it is delicious. Okay, so in terms of spiciness level, definitely it's called spicy pineapple rum sauce, but not very spicy on that scale. Gives it just a little bit of a zing. Okay, and you're gonna go ahead and grab your Asian seasoning mix and do 1 tablespoon, again, about 1 cap full of that. And that one's out. I'm using my other one. I will tell you my Asian seasoning mix is one that I tend to use over like a hot stove and seasoning my chicken and vegetables with. And if you do that, because there's not really preservatives in these Pampered Chef spices, there is anti-caking, but they do kind of stick together. So I recommend putting your seasonings or your rubs in a prep bowl and measuring it out over there rather than sprinkling it over steam. Okay, once you have that ready to go, close up your bag, squeeze as much air out of it as possible. And knead the sauce and the rub into the chicken. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, one of our easiest recipes out there. Can be made super simply on a night that isn't even frozen yet, but it's also great when you want to buy that chicken in bulk and have it ready to go and frozen. So put that spicy pineapple rum sauce on your pantry staple list, because let me tell you, it is well worth it. Okay, so that is there. Once again, get your freezer meal instructions, the cooking day instructions, and put your freeze date on them. Put it in your plastic sandwich bag like this. And then double bag it. Once again, I'm going to attempt these reusable ones, so I'm not going to double bag this recipe, but if you are using your regular Ziploc bags, I would highly encourage you to double bag them, and it helps prevent spills in the freezer. Decide once again how you're going to freeze it. If you're going to freeze it flat, in this recipe, I believe it's recommended that you grill. So I would recommend freezing it flat. It will thaw in less time if you have the freezer space to do so, and throw it in your freezer. So we're going to move this on over, and we are done with that recipe. So we are on to recipe number 5. Okay, we're at the final countdown, page 10 of your freezer meal workshop packet. And for those of you who are watching, let me know how you're doing. Are you keeping up? Do you have any questions about tools or the recipes we made so far? Recycle some stuff. And back to mise en place. Clean up your space. That way you are not overwhelmed. You guys can see on my counter space here, it kind of starts encroaching if you don't move it along as you're cleaning up. So let me grab this part. And you're going to need for this recipe, it's the worth waiting for chicken. Worth waiting for chicken. You're going to need 4 to 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You are going to need balsamic vinegar, 4 tablespoons of butter or margarine, which is about half a cup. Okay, and you will need half a cup of water. You'll need your Asian seasoning mix, your crushed peppercorn and garlic rub, and your 3 onion rub. Okay, and some people joining live. We have Barb saying, I'm enjoying this session so much. Lots of great tips. I am so happy that you're enjoying this. It is so much fun for me to teach people some great tips to help them get meals on the table in their house. So once again, your 4 to 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts for our worth waiting for chicken. And this chicken is worth waiting for, trust me. I'm gonna put these in my bag. Once again, if you have really thick breasts, you can cut them in half before you put them in your baggie, or you can cook them. It just will take a little bit longer to make because they are so big. And I'm gonna wash my hands and start getting my ingredients ready to go. Okay. So let's get this party started. The first thing you are going to need for this particular recipe is 1/3 a cup of balsamic vinegar. I personally love Pampered Chef's cherry balsamic vinegar. It's actually being discontinued this month. So if you want some really good flavor, I would recommend putting that on your wish list to get by the end of August, because when it's gone, it is gone. It's leaving our line this month. And you're going to take 1/3 of balsamic vinegar and put that in your ingredient or in your baggie. You're going to get, you're actually not going to put this in your baggie. You have 4 tablespoons of margarine. My instructions say for the margarine and butter to put this in your baggie. I actually recommend, now that I was going back through my cooking here, either having your margarine thawed before you put it in this bag, or cutting it and putting it separately in. That way you can use it on the grill or thaw it out the day of and have it thawed so you can mix it in with the mixture. Okay, so again, you can choose to take it out of the wrap, put it just in as is. You can put it in a separate bag and just add it the day of, but personal preference, I'm gonna just throw it in so I don't forget it. You're gonna take half a cup of water. Throw it in your bag, and you will take 2 tablespoons of Asian seasoning mix. You can probably use the rest of this container here, so I'm not even measuring that out. 1 tablespoon of crushed peppercorn and garlic. Again, if you're using your caps, that's approximately 1 tablespoon. And then 1 tablespoon of 3 onion rub. Where did mine go? I may have used it all. That one's gone. Aha, found it. Okay. And voila. Then you're going to take it. Once again, move as much air out of the bag as possible as you're sealing the bag up. And get the air out of that. And then you're going to knead the mixture together. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this recipe is going to call for you to grill it. I will also say that this would probably be great in as baked or in the quick cook or slow cooked, but the ingredients that you will need on cooking day is pineapple, and it's recommended that you serve it with green beans and couscous. So get your sandwich bag out, put your directions in your sandwich bag, put your freeze date on it. Excuse me. And once again, just as a reminder, about 3 months in your conventional regular freezer, or 4 to 6 months if you have a deep freezer. Okay. This one I recommend thawing. If you're going to grill it, you are definitely going to need to thaw it. It does say must thaw on the directions for planning purposes. That way you guys remember to pull them out of that freezer. And it is recommended to cook on the double burner grill pan or on our new deluxe grill and griddle on the grill setting. If you are looking at these electric items and you're like, you know, I'm interested in this quick cooker or this grill, the deluxe grill and griddle, different changeable plates. If you are watching this recording in August 2021, they are 25% off this month. Oh my gosh, great deal. So all our small appliances, the deluxe cooking blender, the quick cooker, the air fryer, and the deluxe grill and griddle are all 25% off. Great deal. So make sure you talk with your consultant if you're looking into any of those about how you can get that deal and possibly even more off if they have any sort of shared rewards events going on or hosting events going on. So I'm gonna put this now in my fridge. I'll put this in my freezer later. And we are almost done, guys. Now, guys, I threw a bonus recipe in this month, and it is 8:30. We have about 30 minutes left, and we will finish up this amazing bonus recipe. So, who is excited? Let's get our areas ready to go and get started on this blue ribbon barbecue baby back ribs bonus recipe. Okay, so some of you may still have your ribs in the full rack, okay? That is okay because I actually want to give you some tips on how you are going to put these ribs into a freezer meal bag, okay? And show you how to cut them up. Okay, my camera's on, honey. You're gonna have to put clothes on if you want to come in the picture. And let me grab my kitchen shears to be able to do this with you guys. Do you know where my kitchen shears are, baby? David? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, guess I'm looking for my kitchen shears by myself. Oh, I have 2 sets in this kitchen, and of course, the day I need them, they're not here. Let's see if they're in. Here we are. I gotta rinse these off. Okay. So Pampered Chef actually has, as you guys are waiting for me to get these out, 2 types of kitchen shears. I can only find one of my pairs right now, so you're just gonna have to work with me. But they're both fabulous. There's only a $5 price difference between the 2, and I would say that I would actually prefer to use the other pair that I can't find, but I'm going to show you how to do this either way. Okay, so baby back ribs. Okay, you guys are going to want a large bowl out to cut and prepare your meat into. Okay, so you likely bought these ribs in a rack like this. In order for us to fit them in our freezer meal bag, you're going to need to pre-cut them. Okay, it'll also help with cooking day, especially if you're going to decide to put them in your pressure cooker, your quick cooker, and get ready, because this is going to be a little bit messy, but it is well worth it. Okay, so what you are going to want to do to prepare your ribs is, you guys will see, here's the front that has the nice meat on it, and then you have the back, which has the bones, and you can see this white membrane. So when you are using your kitchen shears, you actually can kind of start maneuvering this membrane apart, and you're going to want to pull that membrane off, okay? And that is going to help you get started there. And you're going to pull that membrane off so it allows the spices and flavors to get into that meat, and it makes it a little bit easier when you're eating them and cooking them. Okay, so let's show you guys how this is done for those of you who maybe have never done this before. So once again, you can see I'm peeling the membrane off the back of these ribs here. But and you can see it pulling off. There we go. And sometimes you can get it in one full piece. Sometimes you have to trim off pieces together. If you did not eat your dinner, you can get your dinner out of the fridge. Okay. Yes, to see I almost got this all off in one piece. Anything else I can trim off with my kitchen shears. So I have right now my professional kitchen shears out. They are spring loaded. I typically only like using these for snipping softer things like chicken and herbs and things like that. But tonight they will have to do for cutting the meat. The other ones that I have are stainless steel, and they are actually really good at cutting through bone and beef and pork. Oh, and I found them. Yay! Okay, cool. So you guys will actually get to see these in action. They were just by my sink. Okay. So here we go. Let me rinse these off. They clearly didn't fit by the sink. Okay. Oh, I lost a camera. I think my phone died. Yep. Okay. Well, we're gonna turn the spotlight off of this, and you guys will get to. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So now that we've pulled the membrane off, you guys are gonna take your rack and you're gonna follow the bones along the back, taking your professional or your kitchen shears. Again, these stainless steel ones are so much better for cutting through tougher things like pork and beef and bones. And you're gonna cut these into sections. I usually say 3 to 4 ribs per section. And that helps with storage and even portioning when you're serving them, okay? So you can cut these into sections. Get through the fattier parts with these amazing kitchen shears. And cutting through them. Cool. Okay, almost cut through. A little more membrane on this side. Ooh, a lot of membrane on this side. Huh. Okay, there we go. Cool. Okay, so I have cut mine into 4 sections. These kitchen shears are great because they come apart and they can be washed easily that way. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is wash my hands. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put no, I'm not. We're gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna put the seasonings on this, okay? So wash my hands. Lots of hand washing throughout these meal prep sessions, especially when you're dealing with meat. That's a lot of times why we like you to hear that. Okay, my screen is frozen. Let me see if I can stop my video, start it again, remove spotlight. Let me see. Pin. Is it any better? Any better if you're watching me? Let me know if you can see me now. Okay, perfect. Technical errors, but we made it through technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. So now that we have our meat cut up, for those of you who maybe didn't see it, I'm gonna grab my spices for this, okay? So this is going to be where you're gonna wanna keep your meat in your bowl or sprinkle it over, put them on a plate and sprinkle it over before you put it in the bag. So for your barbecue ribs, you are going to want to sprinkle wrong recipe. You're going to want to sprinkle 1 tablespoon of crushed peppercorn and garlic and 1 tablespoon of 3 onion rub, okay? And I again really recommend maybe getting them ready, get your seasonings ready so you can have one hand to pour your seasoning on with and one hand to hold your meat with, okay? So first we'll do some of that. Wrong one. There we go. Get the cat going again. Okay. And you're gonna want to rub these in. And this is a little messier recipe. And add those seasonings on to your meat. And voila. Okay. Once you have added your seasonings on, this is the time to grab your Ziploc freezer bag. And I have a little helper here, so I'm going to ask him to help me open my freezer bag. Can you open my freezer bag for me, please, the top? And then you're going to put your ribs with just the dry rub in on them, okay? So again, the recipe that I gave you guys wasn't quite clear on this. I will tweak that in our freezer meal packet, but you're gonna wanna grab probably me another bowl to stand this up in. I'm trying to do less hand washing, so I'm gonna open this up, push it in here. And now I'm gonna take my hand that I had all dirty and throw my ribs that are cut into 4 sections into my Ziploc bag. So we've pulled off all the membrane, we've cut them into sections. For those of you who weren't able to see, these were my kitchen shears that were the stainless steel ones. And then these are the professional shears. So the stainless steel ones are much better for cutting through big, tougher meat like this, okay? Hold on. I'm gonna wash my hands. Good night, baby, I love you. One more time, and then we're gonna add some of the final ingredients. Okay. So for the actual rib bag, you are still going to, you're gonna wanna close this out, okay? And get as much air out of it as you can. And then we're going to have a whole nother bag to make our sauce in, okay? This is our blue ribbon sauce. Super, super yummy, yummy, yummy sauce. So I'm gonna grab this, grab another gallon size Ziploc. Okay, you're definitely gonna want a gallon size for this sauce recipe because there's gonna be lots of sauce. You probably had about 5 to 6 pounds of ribs. I only had 1 rack here. 5 to 6 pounds is usually about 2 racks worth. So you're gonna want all this barbecue sauce. What's great about it is when you freeze it, you can use it for lots of different things. You don't have to worry about using it right away. So what are you going to need for your sauce? You're gonna need your Easy Read measuring cup again. And you're going to need 1 cup of ketchup. You are going to need, if you are following along with me, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/4 a cup of balsamic vinegar, 1 cup of water, and then you're gonna need onion rub, crushed peppercorn and garlic rub, Asian seasoning, and chipotle rub, okay? I'm gonna run low on ketchup today, guys. Okay, we've used lots of ketchup for our sauces here. Nice barbecue sauce recipes. You guys can use these barbecue sauce recipes and use them on other things if you're a barbecue fan. Okay, once again, you guys see that? I've now put my Ziploc bag in this bowl so it stands up and I don't have to worry about my ingredients spilling. I'm gonna plop this over and voila, our ketchup is out. Then you're going to want 1 cup of brown sugar. Grab my brown sugar out. You're gonna want to pack your brown sugar. 1 cup of packed brown sugar. If you are somebody that is trying to do less added sugars, I believe they have an alternative brown sugar that you can purchase nowadays. I think it's like a stevia type thing. So that's something you can always look into. And again, if you're trying to cut back on added sugars. And again, we typically do, but we're gonna have a good barbecue sauce. It's just innate that it's gonna have sugar in it. So my 1 cup of packed barbecue sauce in it. You're gonna need 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, my butter softened at this point. And again, once you put this and defrost it, good thing it was still in the package, you're gonna be able to kind of incorporate it a little bit better. You're gonna take your 1/4 a cup of balsamic vinegar. And once again, if you do buy some of that cherry balsamic vinegar, which I just ran out of, you can use that in this recipe. It gives some great alternative sauce flavor. But I'm gonna use just regular balsamic vinegar this time around. 1 cup of water. I'm gonna add that straight to this mixture. And then you're going to use 2 tablespoons of 3 onion rub. Using the rest of mine here. Open up another. This, guys, is what gives you an amazing barbecue sauce flavor, okay? So throw those in. You are going to take 1 tablespoon of crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. And I have totally exploded here. So again, you guys might have this happen in your own kitchen if you're not staying on top of the organization. And of course, now I can't find my crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. So I will find that momentarily. If you do not have a spice for some reason, feel free to put on your bag, add blah, blah, blah on cooking day. Okay, so I'll probably do that. Now 1 tablespoon of Asian seasoning mix. The next one. Well, I'll not be getting that out today. Of course. Okay, so I'm adding that because apparently I ran out of that. Again, doing 2 workshops back to back is seasoning mixes here. Okay, well, we'll have to see what happens with that. Okay, so if you have that, add your 1 tablespoon of Asian seasoning mix and then your 1 tablespoon of chipotle rub. Okay. And if you don't have it, add it on your bag that you need to add it to your recipe, or add it on your cooking day instructions so you remember to do that. Okay, so that gives us all our ingredients for the barbecue sauce. We'll close it up, get as much air out of it as possible, and shake up this bag, knead it together. And really kind of start smashing that butter margarine in there, soften it up. And shake. Okay, and once again, when this thaws out on cooking day, you'll have the opportunity to incorporate and re-shake some of that butter in there if it's not quite soft enough. Okay, so now that I have these 2 things, I personally am using the reusable. So I'm going to, what I will do is put my directions on and label them, take my cooking day instructions and take them on. If you're doing this without the reusables, then you're gonna grab another gallon storage bag here. Put your cooking day instructions in your sandwich bag and plop them all into another storage bag. I found my crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. Look at that. I'm gonna add that to my thing right now. So while you guys are packing up, now I just have to remember to add the Asian seasoning mix. Okay, there we are. And close this one up. And voila. Okay. And again, if you are storing this together, put it in your bags. If you have your 5 to 6 pounds of pork, it's not all going to fit in one storage bag. You're just going to have to label it bag 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 to be able to store it. And even honestly, 1 plus the barbecue sauce is probably going to be a little tight. So you may just, again, need to really label these bags as to what they are and keep them together in your freezer. Okay, so blue ribbon barbecue baby back ribs. What is recommended to serve these with is sweet potato fries, mashed potatoes, baked beans, and your vegetable of choice. And you will make these in the quick cooker, the slow cooker, the microwave with our rock crops or deep covered baker, or within the oven. You can make them on a baking sheet. So lots of different ways to make this particular recipe. Once again, I'd highly recommend that quick cooker. They're quick, they're easy, and they fall off the bone. We just had our barbecue root beer ribs in the quick cooker the other day. Holy moly, did my family devour those. So that wraps up our 6th bonus recipe for the evening, and it concludes our prep for our freezer meal workshop. Look at that, guys. 6 meals ready to go, maybe more if you are dividing these into 2 in less than 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys joining me for time at my table. Feel free, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, contact your consultant, and be ready for next month's freezer meal workshop. We have some great menus coming up. Make sure you let your consultant know if you want to do this again. So thanks again and have a good one.